Hello everyone and welcome to a new video where today we are going to be exploring the topic how to be good at sex. My real and practical advice on how you can become good at sex. I'm going to read a little bit of a disclaimer. I have my notes here. So the thing is that sexual satisfaction is subjective. It varies from person to person and it depends on everyone's anatomy, biology, and even their likes, their kinks. Okay, so you should focus on creating a fulfilling and mutually, very important, mutually satisfying sexual relationship with your partner. And this has to be based on communication, trust, and just feeling overall comfortable. So that's why I always emphasize that we should have communication with our partner, especially in a topic like this. So I'm going to read to you these tips that I have here that I wrote down on my phone, but then I'm also going to give you two extra ones that maybe you haven't really thought about and are going to be new. Okay, so basically, becoming skilled in sexual activities involves communication, exploration, and practice. Okay, but some of these tips can be communication with your partner, in this case, to talk openly about your desires, boundaries, and preferences. It's also very important to explore your own body. So that's advice number two. Take the time to explore your own body and discover what feels pleasurable to you. Sometimes we have a predisposition and a prefixed idea of how, like, for example, for guys, everyone should like blowjobs, and that's the only way to get pleasure. It's from oral sex. You have different ways to get pleasure. Okay, you have to experiment with yourself, with other people, but you should be open-minded. That's going to be another topic in here. Learn about your partner. So every individual is unique, so you should take time to learn what they like. You should take time to know what makes them tick, not only in a more mindset way and like their psychology, their behavior, but also in bed. Okay, I think everything is translated and it's in bed also, that ends up, so to speak. Focus on intimacy. Sex is not just about physical pleasure, it's also about the emotional connection and intimacy. Also, doing foreplay. In this case, I'm going to include here the kissing, cuddling, even intimate conversations. Then we have experimentation and being open minded, which may be a little bit hard in the beginning, okay? Because sometimes we already have this prefixed idea of what we like, what we want, what we think that we're good at, and we forget, and then we are afraid to try new things. So experiment with different sexual activities together, okay? New positions, techniques, and even fantasies or kinks. Hmm. Again, you got to be comfortable to do that. And I'm sorry that I need to scratch. Focus on pleasure. Instead of putting pressure on achieving a specific outcome, climax, climax, guys, focus on experiencing pleasure and connecting with your own partner. Connection can be different, and the thing that you find pleasurable is different from what another person thinks or feels. Maintain a healthy lifestyle. Taking care of your physical and mental well being can have a positive impact during sex. Not only because you can last longer, you can do other positions, but at the same time, you just feel better. So, this is a major, major key. Trust me. And then we have seek education. In this case, the form of this video, books, etc., information online. These are my tips. But now I want to give you something a little bit more off the record, or a little bit more off the matrix, whatever you want to call it. I think the big disclaimer in this topic is that you have to try it and you have to experiment. If you don't have experience, you're not going to be good at sex. It's that simple. Okay, so don't be in your head and think, oh my God, I'm not going to be good. I'm not going to be good. Yes, you're probably not going to be good, but just enjoy that. Okay, also, it depends with the person that you're doing it with, if she has more experience or he, etc. But you're going to be shit at first. It's normal. The second tip is, and this is more spiritual, to meditate. I feel like if you meditate and if you understand how to be silent, how to be whole within the moment, you can have better sex, not only with your partner, but also with yourself. I feel like this is a major key because sex really is about just being present. It's about being in the moment. And especially if you masturbate a lot with pornography, which is going to be my next tip, If you masturbate a lot with pornography, it's hard to achieve this. So the other advice that I have to you is stop using porn or reduce the amount of porn that you use. Okay, it's a very, very major key. And then the last one that I'm going to tell you is that you should, I already spoke about this, you should educate yourself. But I feel like if you read books about the female orgasm, the male orgasm, about sex, even if some of these things are more esoteric and they're not like really practical, if you are engrossed in the matter and in the topic, you will feel like you are good at sex. It's the thing of like fake it until you make it, so to speak. And I feel like that is in terms of you engross yourself in this world and then you feel part of it. Okay. This is a little bit weird and it may not work. Okay. I'm not telling you just read the book and you're going to know everything. That's why I'm telling you to meditate and do stuff like that. Breathe this topic, breathe this air. Okay. Of course, the first time that you're going to do it, all you want to do is climax, and that's completely fine. You're supposed to. That's how it is. But slowly and surely, and even with the right partner, you improve the way that you dance. I feel like this topic is all about dancing. It's all about the masculine and female energy and how they interplay each other. Okay. It's more like about moving your hips. Okay. My last advice is going to be train your hips. Do hip thirst, glute bridges, and just like stretch your hips and do stuff like that. That's it. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed this topic. If you have any advice, please put it down below. Okay, every advice and every little advice and tips and whatever knowledge, because it is knowledge, it's valuable, so please share it with others. Thank you so much. Hello everyone, and now we're going to go to the Q&A. I do want to start with this interesting topic from the seduction Reddit. Okay, we have done a review and a Q&A from the seduction, self-improvement, and pickup Reddit. I slept with 20 women in 1 year, trying to deal with bad effects. So he's basically talking about that last year was his peak year. He took care of himself, made the most money, lived downtown Manhattan. Nice. So during this time, I went on dates with about 40 to 50 women and slept with 20 of them. That's a great ratio. It was a lot of fun, but there are negatives. Okay, so he's just talking about the negatives. I no longer have the energy to date. It's been 4 to 5 months that I have been dealing this way, and it hasn't changed. I am just bored. I hate dating apps. I'm not really as excited to have sex as before. No women really attracts me like crazy. On the other hand, one positive is my confidence. Okay. All right. Then we're just gonna read the first one. Okay, we're just gonna read the first comment before I talk about this. My dude, that was me 3 years ago. Okay, I moved out. I went on first dates. He was exclusive or non-exclusive with his girls. Well, I didn't become bored or hate the apps, nor got tired of sex. I did get very desensitized, yes, and started treating dating like an actual game. So this is what I want to talk about here, which is this is amazing, and this has a male perspective. And then we're going to move on to the other subreddit, okay? Don't you worry, because this is very specific to seduction, self-improvement, pickup. But these are my baselines. In the video that I talked about my background, you can see that I have some of these topics in my background, and that's how my interest for the sex education area began. Okay, to the point. You will get very desensitized. This is amazing for you to work on your confidence and for you to breathe more, for you to be more aware, for you to be more present, for you to go after what you really want, in this case, going for dates or going for sex. But the fact is, you get desensitized. You start valuing things less and less. This is the same thing because at some point you are doing this in an extreme way. This is the same thing as going to the gym or doing a hobby. And it's when it becomes an extreme, it becomes part of your day to day, and it becomes part of you, like your work. Your brain switches and it thinks about it in a work way, and that's bad because then you don't enjoy the present. So most of these things to do with dating, you have to be in a present state. There's so much complex variables going into this, because when you are going to meet a woman or a man, you are already thinking, what am I going to say? How am I going to react? What should I do? How should I escalate things? But the fact of the matter is that it should be natural, because the one thing that you want to do, most of us, is sex. And sex isn't supposed to be robotic, and sex isn't supposed to be a number. because you have to be present and you have to be chilled, or else the experience is not the same. All right, so now we go to the normal Q&A subreddit. Why won't it go in? Before I get criticized, we're both versions, so we're truly, they don't know anything about the subject. Okay, he or she doesn't give me any information to work with. So, like somebody says here in the first comment, why are you having sex? So, the fact of the matter is that communicate in your relationship, understand if you want to do normal sex and you want to have penetration, and where, if it's going to be anal, if it's going to be vaginal. Understand that? I mean, they can be, it doesn't have to be a heterosexual relationship, but you understand what I'm trying to say, okay? It's just because most of the relationships are heterosexual, at least that we know of. That's a story for another day, but that might be an interesting topic for a video. But yeah, the fact is, understand why you're having sex. If you want to put it in, where you want to put it in, how are you going to use it? If you're going to use your organs or you're going to use your hands, and understand one thing, sex, it's not just foreplay. But to answer the practical question, if you are a male and you are going to insert it in a female, it probably will feel tight. Okay, so you have to push it in. For that, use lube and do a lot of foreplay and be respectful and be open with your partner. Be comfortable with your partner. That's it. All right. I have already answered a similar question, but I'm gonna go for here. I'm 16. Is it normal for my foreskin to cover my head all the way? All the way and all the time, yeah. Even when I'm hard, my foreskin always covers my head. I can pull it back, but if I leave it alone, it just always covers my head. Is that normal, or do I have too much foreskin? Okay. And as somebody says, as long as you can pull it back all the way without any discomfort, this is perfectly fine. It is normal for some people to have more foreskin. Okay, it is normal. It is what it is. But again, if this doesn't give you any discomfort, you're fine. All right. So, I'm gonna go for this one. I hate this feeling. This feeling genuinely concerns me. I feel like a whore for having sex at a young age, not to mention doing it practically daily. Me and my boyfriend have been getting way more intimate, and I feel ashamed for having sex afterwards. I had a pregnancy scare 3 weeks ago, and it fucked me up mentally, but yet I still had sex. Obviously, we used condom, and we also pulled out. Okay. I think that there's two underlying things in here. The first is that she had the pregnancy scare a couple weeks ago. The fact is that when you have a pregnancy scare, this might be a great topic for a video. You get scared, and then the next time that you're going to have sex and then that you're going to ejaculate, or the partner, you're always going to feel like, oh my God, I'm scared. So you have to deal with that your own way, okay? I'm not telling that you did it wrong or you did it right. Now, if you are with someone and you love them, it's perfectly normal to have sex. It's healthy as fuck, okay? So you shouldn't feel ashamed of that. Now, the story about the pregnancy scare, it's another story, and it's something that you have to deal with, and also with your partner, because maybe if you had, of course, you are young, so you do not want to have pregnancy, most likely. So you always think, am I good with this person or not? Maybe the pregnancy scare that you had has nothing to do with that person, or maybe it has, and subconsciously you're already thinking, if I had the pregnancy, I would not have a kid with this person. I know it's a little bit of psychology in here, but I'm here for this. This is my job, so to speak. I'm here to help, and I'm here to be practical. All right, so let's go for just one more question. Orgasm by just thinking. Ooh. So I had a really good time yesterday. Nice. This morning I was thinking about back on it, and I felt like I came. 100% it was an orgasm. So the fact of the matter is this. Even if you think you came, like, you can have this vibes when you have some great food and you have a great meal. If I have a great meal and if I have some good food, or in this case shitty food, like a shit day, I feel like I had an orgasm. I feel like, oh my God, this was amazing. But things that if you don't ejaculate, it's different, okay? So, but someone tells us here, yes, it's completely possible. I think it's more like a mental orgasm, and a physical orgasm is the ejaculation.